Shalom, shalom, shalom. This is your brother Kadar of GMS Gulf Coast. I'd like to start by giving our praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Wadash. Double honors are given unto the apostle elders of Great Millstone, men who have labored and suffered in this truth for over 30 plus years, making their lives and their bodies a living sacrifice. I'd also like to send a shalom to the hopefully elect, the 1/3 of the nation of Israel, the speckled bird that scattered throughout the four winds of planet Earth, north, south, east, and west, which consist of men, women, and children, in that order. I'd also like to send a shalom to the heads, the various GMS camps, like it, elders and heads. And last but not least, I'd like to send a shalom to any of you Akim, not named GMS, but walk in one body, one spirit, and Yahweh Shai, preaching and teaching this 100% truth as it's taught to us all by the apostle elders of Great Millstone. To you all, shalom. Hey, Malcolm X said it best, it never being, that he was an old farm boy, he said, quote unquote, it never displeased me to see the roosters come home to roost. When the violence that they have perpetrated upon all the people of the planet, but damn that, just mainly the nation of Israel in particular, you so-called blacks, Latinos, Native and Seminole Americans, when you see the violence that has been perpetrated on us by these other nations in particular, these so-called white people, Esau, Edom, according to the scriptures. Hey, man, it is what it is, and it's going to get worse before it get worse. Whether these be staged events or whatever the case may be, you understand? Through the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, this is coming. These things are coming down the pipe. It is what it is. These things are coming down the pipe. It's prophesied that it happens. I want to read a little clip on this Nancy Pelosi, and this ain't gonna take too long. Abaratazah. Anyway, let's see if we can pull this up here because see, what this is, NPR home intruder yell, where's Nancy before attacking Pelosi's husband, source say. We ain't gonna go too far into this because the powers that be, they watch your videos and they'll cut your feed. You'll find yourself, 10, 15, 20 minutes in a video, and I'm just stating this, and look up and they didn't cut your feed. They didn't cut, So let's try to get through this. I just wanted to say that out of frustration. And it reads, an intruder broke into House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's San Francisco home early Friday morning and violently assaulted her husband, Paul Pelosi, who was taken to a local hospital to undergo surgery for a skull fracture. Early this morning, Paul Pelosi was attacked at home by an assailant who acted with force and threatened his life while demanding to see the speaker. Read a statement from Drew Hamill, Speaker Pelosi's spokesman. According to the statement, Paul Pelosi was admitted to Zuckerberg San Francisco General Hospital, where he underwent successful surgery to repair a skull fracture and serious injuries to his right arm and hand. His doctors expect a full recovery. San Francisco Police Chief William Scott told reporters Friday afternoon that officers responded to the Pelosi resident at 2:27 a.m. encountered an adult male and Paul Pelosi both holding a hammer. Encountered an adult male and Paul Pelosi both holding a hammer. Okay. It reads, the suspect, who police have identified as 42-year-old Dave DePape, pulled the hammer away from Mr. Pelosi and violently assaulted him with it. So I guess he stood him off and had that hammer taken from him and used on him. This is what I'm reading. It reads, our officer immediately tackled the suspect, disarmed him, took him into custody, requested emergency backup, and rendered medical aid, Scott said, adding both the party and Pelosi were transported to a local hospital for treatment. Well, like I said, man, it goes without saying, the violence that these people have perpetrated on the planet Earth, you know what I'm talking about, through that wicked ass crafty council, they make laws, they write in laws with a deceitful nature, they overthrow countries, uh, they incite violence here in the streets of America. They do a lot of these things. You understand what I'm saying? When you look at the war on drugs and whatnot, the drugs would not be entering the United States borders if it wasn't for the higher ups allowing this to come in here. Like the old saying goes, you know, Jake, you so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans for the most part, you don't have planes and boats and whatnot to fly and ship that shit up in there. They get that in here, and then they make up these crafty ass laws in order to prosecute you. They give you it's just like you going to a bar and drinking. The bar has what they call alcohol license, and then the moment you step out the bar, you get arrested for public intoxication. You see what you follow what I'm saying? This is the things that these people do. So for these things to in return come back to their own doorstep, whether they be staged or not, every man's gonna be rewarded for his works. Let's see. Let's go real quick. Everyone's gonna be rewarded for what they've done here. And mainly these damn Edomites, these so-called white folk, man. Let's see. Let's read. Let's see. This is Galatians 6 and 7, and it reads, Be not deceived. God is not mocked. Yahweh, he's not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption, but he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap everlasting life. Now, this is speaking. This is some of the one of the letters that was written to the Galatians by the Apostle Paul. Speaking to what Israelites that had been no longer calling themselves Israelites, heathens as you may. You know what I'm talking about? But they were Israelites nevertheless. But living a heathen state of mind. You know what I'm talking about? Living according to the people that are around them. You know what I'm saying? But now this goes without saying. You're just using this in this sense. That the Most High, he would not be mocked. This man, and when I say this man in particular, now I'm gonna throw this on and put this coat on these so-called white folks. They went around the whole world, man, perpetrating violence and all kind of abominations and whatnot. He's sown wickedness throughout all the planet Earth. And that's, what I'm saying, and for him doing so, he gonna reap the same. That's all. That's the point that I'm trying to make here. He will reap the same. So when his violent tendencies come back to him, when they come back to him, then it's all good. It's all good. Let me see. Let me see. I think it's 73. It's all good. This is Psalm 73, and I'm gonna start at verse. No, I'm gonna just get straight to the point. Verse 6, and it reads, "Therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain; violence covereth them as a garment." When you have a man that runs around the planet Earth and he wants to point out everybody else's discrepancies, but when you look at the bigger picture, he's never taken accountability for his own you know what I'm saying, mishaps, he's never taking accountability. It's always someone else's fault. You know what I'm talking about? This is a very violent people. You understand? And now that they see it in their way of living, their society, you know what I'm talking about, their right wing, left wing, you know, they're not getting their way, so to speak, you know what I'm talking about. What, that true violence come after them, you know what I'm saying? It reads again, therefore pride compasses them. It's very prideful people. They will not accept what happened in January the 6th when then Vice President Pence had not bowed down to the violent rhetoric and declared Donald Trump president. They're prideful. They would not let that down, and that's ultimately has created a bigger split, a split to the fact where you see they acting up on one another, which they've always done now. You know what I'm saying? But this is of the higher echelons. You know what I'm talking about? It says, therefore pride compasses them about as a chain, and violence covers them as a garment. The same people that run around and call everybody terrorists, you know what I'm talking about? Who are the people who are going in these school buildings and whatnot, huh? Who are that? Are those so-called black people that's doing that? Or is it 99% so-called white people doing that? Which one is it? I mean, we see the news. We see the news reports. We've been watching it since Sandy Hooks all the way up to today. And mind you, that wasn't Sandy Hooks wasn't the first one. It was an incident that happened in I don't know if it was Houston, Texas, back in the late 50s or the latter 60s, where a white boy climbed up into one of those school bells, you know, where they ring the bell at the top of the tower, and sit out there with a 30-06 and were picking folks off. So, you know, this is a part of their history. This is you check their track record. This is who these people are. Going to this woman's house, jumping an 82-year-old man, you know what I'm talking about? Where Nancy at? And then taking a hammer to him when the man tried to defend himself. These are very violent people. You know? Very, very violent people. But Yahweh Shai, our Lord and Savior, said that in these times, as a matter of fact, let's go real quick. He said that we'll know the times. No matter of fact, let's go to real quick. Let's let me see. Search. Because that ain't what I want, so I'm gonna match this again. The scriptures tell us to do what in 2 Ezra 9? Let's see if it do right by me. Let's see, 2 Ezra 9. Let's go there real quick. Just real quick. And we're going to go to the Apocrypha, the 2 Ezra and the Apocrypha, which once were part of the Bible. You know, it just was taken out. But you can find it in the 1611 King James Version, though. This is 2 Ezra 9 and 1, and it reads, He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs, that's key part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. It says the signs, it says, and when thou seest part of the signs which I've told thee before. Now let's see what those signs are real quick. Let's pull out of this. And for some content, that was the archangel, one of the archangels, Gabriel, speaking to Ezra. Ezra had a lot of visions. That ain't what I wanted. Let's see. Okay, here we go. You have to stay on this. What's your name? This is what should be the sign? Check this out. This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 3, and it reads, and as he sat upon the mount of Olives. The disciples came unto him privately saying, and he's talking to about Yahushua, tell us when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? These are some of the signs. Now, one of the, we just read a few of them here, and it reads right here, and Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear wars and rumors of war. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come pass, but the end is not yet. Now the wars and rumors of wars, we're in that right now, and that's been going on for a while now. They went through this Cold War era from the ending of Second World War all the way up until what it was, 89. It's got hot again now because guess what? This terrorist, this portion of the terrorist group Edom, in the Western world is reneging on all the contracts that he's made with anyone, being past and present. And now that violence that covered him like a garment is returning back onto him. Now, we're going to get this. It says right here in verse 7, it says, for nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. Nation against nation. Now, let's look at this word real quick. Nation. Let's see if we can get a better sense of this. Now, look at this. Okay, he went through. Let's see. Nation. If it's going. What's going on?
Strong's G 1484. Ethnos.
Now we're just gonna make this. We just a multitude of whether men or beasts associated living together, a company, troop, swarm, multitude of individuals, same natural or genus, human family, tribe, nation, people, group, and foreign nation, not worshiping the true God, pagans, Gentiles, a race, as of the same habit, a tribe. So these different races are going to rise up against one another. But now, I want to jump from there real quick. Yeah, I want to jump from there. Let's see. Because that wasn't the point that I was making. Because, see, we're seeing, that's more or less going into being these race wars, these different races. There, let's see, I think it's Isaiah 19 real quick. Yeah, here we go right here. This is Isaiah 19 and 1, and it reads, the burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord Yahweh rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. At the point right here, and it reads, and I will set the Egyptian against the Egyptian, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, kingdom against kingdom. So we're watching the powers that be, which is these so-called white people, they're turning on one another. We're watching this. We just got to sit back. That's why Jake shouldn't even have a dog in this race as far as concerning an election, whether it be being on a Democrat or Republican side. You have no dog in this race. Your obligation, I'm talking about, is to your Most High, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. That's it. You got nothing to do with none of this. Because the violence that they're perpetrating on one another, I'm talking about, hey, it's warranted. Just like we read in Galatians 6 and 7, so whatever man soweth, that show he shall also reap. So this man has went up throughout the whole planet and sowing violence throughout the planet and hiding it with democracy and nation building and IMF loans and all this old type of deceitful behavior. You know what I'm talking about? Craftiness. He done this thing. He's done this through craftiness. You know, and now he's come back to for the most part, we're seeing the beginning of the end for these people. Because we had what his name, a couple of those judges. I can't even think his name. It was done so quickly, and you know what I'm saying. What was his name? One of the Supreme Court judges. You know what I'm talking about? That was off there not too long ago. Here, 2-3 years back. You know, because they had those positions. They set it in them positions for life. They can voluntarily step down or retire. Other than that, those positions that those Supreme Court justices, they get those are life terms. You know what I'm talking about? So they orchestrate, you know what I'm saying, ways to get them up out of there. You know, through his own violence. You know, he's gonna collapse. He's gonna come down, and all we got to do is just sit back and wait. Prophesy. You know, call him out. You know, call him out. Just sit back and just look. You know. This is Habakkuk 2:1, and it reads, "And I will stand upon my watch and set me upon a tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I'm reproved. And the Lord Yahweh answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it." That he may run that readeth it. Go out here and, some of the watchmen that have been set up. Lord willing, we are those men. Lord willing, I be one of those men. Beginning with the apostle elders on down to a brother such as myself. You're out on the highways and hedges, you know what I'm saying, speaking it and bringing it to the forefront. Isaiah 58:1. Cry loud, spare not. Tell Israel of their transgressions. Also these nations, you know what I'm talking about? Because as the prophecies or the prophesying of the servants of the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is being done, then the Lord is in return bringing these prophecies to pass. As the servants of the Lord go out and do the bidding of the Lord, does the Lord business, then prophecies are coming to pass. And now we've been dealing with Christianity and Islam for Lord knows how long. Ain't nothing come to pass. But what? Waxing worse and worse. That's the only thing. Verse 3, it says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry." So we're at that time now. We're seeing these things. We see what's happening. We in the know, Lord willing, like I say, we are those men of the hopefully elect. We see these things. We see these things happening. And guess what? We're filtering it by way of the scriptures and telling these people, you know what I'm saying, calling them out on their wickedness, on their transgression. And this is Isaiah 34:1. It reads, "Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that are therein, the world, and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of the Lord Yahweh is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies." Upon all nations. So Nancy Pelosi and the rest of these clowns, you know, I'm talking about Joe Biden, the rest, the Joe Bidens of the world, the Zelenskys and the Putins and whatnot, hey, they're gonna all have their day. They're gonna all have their day, and as that day comes and goes, as we are watching it here in real life, then these prophecies are going to be manifest more and more. We're just waiting on a few more things. A few more prophecies have to come to pass. The implementation Revelation chapter 13, verses 16 through 18. You know, we're waiting on Jeremiah, what it is, 30 and 7. Matthew's, let's get it real quick, Jeremiah 30 and 7, I believe it is. We're waiting on this. Says, alas, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. Jacob's trouble. But he shall be saved out of it. 1/3 of the nation of Israel is going to be saved out of the calamities, the set perils, the plagues, the judgments that are going to be put on planet Earth, and all therein. 1/3 of the nation of Israel, 1/3 of you so-called blacks, Latinos, Native, and Seminole Americans are going to make it out of this. We're waiting. These things have to come to pass, like it said in Matthew, that let's see, like it said in Matthew, I think, let's go back to it real quick. It says, for it shall come, and fear and wars and rumors of war. It says, and ye shall hear wars and rumors of war, see that ye not be afraid. Talking about the elect. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Because guess what? Jacob's trouble has to come as well. And with these type of this type of behavior, this type of mentality unfolding itself in front of the people, Esau Edom is being made bare, is being made naked, is being shown for who he really is after his deceitful lies have spread through across from the four winds of planet Earth. Now the people are seeing him for who he really is. Now he's being seen for who he really is. Let's see what it was. The days now no man knows. The days of Noah, for the days before flood, till the flood came. But you know what? Having said that, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna cut the video off right there because I didn't want to go in too long. I just wanted to touch on that. Hey, what you sow, that you shall also reap. And being that the so-called white man has sown wickedness throughout the planet Earth, guess what? He's reaping what he's sown. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Double honors to the apostle, elders of Great Millstone. Shalom.